Sorry about that. I dropped the phone and turned off. So, anyways, that's what happens. Unedited, uncut, first person view. Oh, let's get you going in here. Slot you in. Okay. Yeah, really got to get a better way of filming all this. So, I like to make it healthy a little bit. Put some whole wheat in whole wheat flour, unbleached whole wheat, what is it, GMO, genetically modified organism. So, yeah, non-GMO, there we go. Supposedly, I'm not sure, hard to tell these days, because they look the same. This is just ground up flour, so let me see, I'll do, at least, I always do 1 cup. 1 cup of good old whole wheat flour. See? 1 cup. 1 cup of good old whole wheat flour. Obviously, this is not a gluten-free, recipe. So, if you're allergic to gluten, sorry. You probably wouldn't be watching this anyway, or looking this up for any good reason. Maybe other than to see what it looks like to eat bread or make bread. And then my flour. Whole 25-pound bag. I just get the 25-pound bag because it's just, cheaper per pound than it is if you get a smaller bag, or cheaper per whatever ounce. So, alright, so pretty much it's, oh, I am missing something. I'll go ahead and put the flour. Oh, you see that? Just the butter's not all melted yet. It's kind of nice to go in there and shake the milk up a little. Okay, so you see that? Butter's not melted yet, but it's getting there. Let's just put some white sugar in there. Why not? So what's going to make this dinner roll sweet? The secret ingredient. Sugar. Sugar. And oh my gosh, I don't know if I have enough for 1 cup. So, anyways, I got some brown sugar. Maybe substitute some brown sugar in there. So that's alright. Let me see. Well, that's barely half a cup there. There's 1. And then, I may have to use a little bit of brown sugar to make up the difference. Anyways, there you go. Or maybe not, that looks 1 cup. Wow, that's a lot of sugar if you look at it that way. Okay. So what makes that dinner roll sweet is sugar. So 1 cup of sugar. So it's going to be 1 cup milk, 1/4 cup of butter, which is there's a measurement on the label of the butter. You get a stick. Unsalted butter, of course. And then 1 cup of sugar. And then the rest is just 3 cups of flour. But I use 1 cup of wheat and then 2 cups of white. So that's kind of what I get. And this is very similar to just making bread. The only difference is instead of putting 4 cups of flour, you put 3 cups of flour and 1 cup of sugar. Pretty much, instead of using water, you're going to use milk and butter as your liquids. So you made bread, making dinner rolls is not a problem. And don't forget your salt and your yeast. So there goes 1, 2. It's going to be 3. Okay. So I got 3 cups of dry material in here, and I'll leave 1 cup at the end to see if I need it, or you know, I'll just save it at the end. So since I got my hands and gloves here, I'll just go ahead and just mix this up with my hands. Why not? They're dry, and I got gloves on. They're dry, and I got gloves on, so I'll just go ahead and just mix it with my hands, which have gloves on. So don't worry, it's all sanitary. I want to stabilize this a little bit, just a little bit. There we go. So just move on me. So there you go. You learned a little tip there. There you go. Just stay right where you are. I love these stainless steel bowls. And just use your hand. There you go. It's just more fun. There, just try. Okay, then what's next? How's this going? Looks like it's. Oh, got a little excited there. There you go. It's cooking. I mean, we'll just put the cover on just to make sure it doesn't evaporate too much. And I need the yeast and then salt. So get some good salt. Any salt is fine. I just buy the cheapest salt there is. I mean, I can't, taste the difference too much in different types of salt. So, and let's just get the tablespoon out. It's always a tablespoon. So, I want this bread to rise really good, and I just use a bread machine. That's all I do, and I don't have to activate or test the yeast. I just get the bigger bottles, so it equals 11 envelopes, I guess, which is a lot, and it works. It activates once you put some liquid in there. So I put 1, put 2. Because I want this dinner roll to really rise, and just bread machine yeast, that's all it is. So I want this machine to rise, not machine to rise, but the bread to rise. And let's just take our hands, and just, there we go. Oh, a little overspill, that's alright. There you go. And then this cap here is okay. Good. Now you want some just salt. Just put in the salt, 1 tablespoon, or just good old salt. And that's the basic recipe, which is very, very basic recipe of the bread. And so, let's see how this is doing. Oh, this is foaming a little bit. Turn it off now. So it's kind of slightly boiling. But you see how everything's just timed. It's just, look at that. Look at that. Okay, everything's just timed where it's, just comes together. So that comes out. Let's mix up the salt a little. So there we go. Yeah, it's fun. It's like playing with sand. And it's a little hot. It's gonna be a little warm. And this is kind of where I like to add just I add a little bit of water in here, at least a quarter of water. There we go. Just to cool things down here. I'm going to cool it down, and it's probably lost some moisture. Just to cool it down. There we go. It's probably lost some moisture as well. And so from here on in, I'm just gonna pour it in, and it's kind of a little steamy. That's all right. I love to use wooden spoons, and just go ahead and just mix it in there. It's gonna really rise, get that yeast to rise in there. And that milk is going to really make that that dinner roll really soft, along with the butter. That's what I've noticed. Just makes it really fluffy. And the added yeast will make it even fluffier. So there you go. Want to take a look at it. And also, okay, so it's a little goopy, and so this is kind of where I want to add the extra cup of flour. I'm adding the extra cup of flour here, and one cup here, 1 cup at a time. Sorry, I'm adding 1 cup at a time. And it's really starting to form up there. It's starting to really dough up a little better. So, you see that? It's really starting to dough up. Alright, there you go. Let's get it doughed up again. That's it. And that should be it for the flour. That should be it for the flour. Oh, still got a lot left. Eating 25 pounds of flour takes a lot of work, especially for just, we only have, I have a daughter and a baby girl, a baby daughter, so, and a wife, and so it takes us quite a bit to finish off 25 pounds of flour, and that's a lot of bread, that's a lot of pizzas, that's a lot of dinner rolls, it's a lot, what can I say, it's a lot of something. So from here, I just take on a little spatula, I get the spatula out, scrape it off, scrape off the sides too. Just get the sides here, because let's make sure I get these. So there we go. And eventually what I do is, well, I am going to be kneading it with my hands here. Just to make sure it gets all the dough around here. There we go. really doughy. And yeah, there you go. Now you got the dough for the dinner roll, and it should be really soft. It's warm. It's very in between like a bread and a cookie dough texture. Okay, this is where I gotta. So I got gloves on. It's gonna. Thank goodness it's not gonna stick to my hand. If it gets too sticky, you might want to add just a little bit more dough to it. I mean flour, but I think this is just right. Oh yeah. Because anyway, I gotta let this thing rise. Oh. So by the time you let this thing rise, oh, it's very sticky. Oh yeah. Okay. Alright. I guess that's it. That's it for this. Now I'm just gonna leave it in the bowl and let it rise. Since it's warm, it's probably gonna rise. I give it about an hour. You could give it about 2 hours or whenever it rises. It doesn't necessarily have to be double in size. And I put it in the microwave because hopefully it's just gonna maintain a heat in there. And in about, well, 2 hours should be, but 1 hour is usually the time I give it because it's got a lot of the warm milk in it and the butter, and that's gonna should get the yeast to get it going. And then I'm gonna knead it again. Alright, and you'll see that in the next episode. I'm gonna knead it again and then shape it. So I'll get a dozen or pieces, make it round, and but then hopefully it won't be as sticky when it grows in size. So if not, I could probably put a little half in there, but probably a little too late for that. But and then after you do that, I'm going to be putting it into the pan, and it's going to be cooked or baking at 350 for 10 minutes, and then that's it. But the critical time is after you take it out and you put it into make it round, you let it rise again, and allowing it to rise one more time is kind of where you get that really nice fluffy texture to the dinner roll. If it doesn't rise that much, that's still alright. I mean, it's still going to taste good. It's just not going to be that fluffy, and maybe a little heavy for the size. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this series here. If you like the videos that I do, please subscribe to them. If you have any comments, please comment, like, dislike. Any feedback's great. Any particular request is great. So, anyways, thank you for watching. In the next episode, we'll bring it out. Matter of fact, I gotta put my timer on this. But basically, I wait an hour, and it should rise by then. Then I'll shape it, put it into the balls, and space them out in the pans. And then let it rise one more time for an hour. So that's a total of 2 hours of rising. And then I'll bake it. All that work baked in 10 minutes. But the dinner rolls are so delicious. They're sweet. They're fluffy. And when you start making your own dinner rolls, going out to the supermarket, it just seems so silly. Buying, all that artificial flavoring and coloring and all those other fillers and preservatives. It just seems ridiculous and very unhealthy. And so at least, you can avoid the preservative and the fillers that they put in, and then they're charging you, whatever they're charging you these days, just to, give you some bread, when most of it's not even, in my opinion, not even bread anymore. But at least you know what you're putting in your bread. So that's the important thing. Anyways, if you want, by now I should have a next episode, so you can click on to the next episode or watch this again or whatever you want to do. Thanks.